Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this tutorial, I will show you in Python how to connect and display records from MySQL phpMyAdmin database using Django framework. And here we got the final output. Notice the header tags, how to configure the MySQL phpMyAdmin, and the second one H2. This is the H2 Python using Django framework. And below that, we got the data from this table, EMP details, ID, EMP name, email, and salary. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before continuing this video tutorial, I sincerely recommend please watch my previous Python and Django web framework tutorial series. Now let's continue the today's tutorial. I want to fetch records from this table and display on a browser using Python in Django web framework. The database I am using phpMyAdmin, which is MySQL database, and the table name is EMP details, which contains some rows and 4 columns. The first column is the ID, EMP name, email, and salary. And I have created this table, this EMP details table, in this sample DB database. Here it is, the sample DB database. Now let's continue the coding part. I'm using Visual Studio Code to write the coding part in Python. And notice in this Visual Studio Code, at the left side panel, there is the Explorer option which contains 3 options. And the second one is the Python Django, which is my project folder. Let me expand this Python Django folder. And notice in this folder there is a subfolder called My Project. And this project I have created in Django web framework. And if you don't know how to install the latest version of Django and how to create a new project, you will get that video link in my Python Django web tutorial series. Now this project, let me expand this project folder, and inside this project folder there is a subfolder My Project. Let me expand this My Project folder also. And notice in this My Project folder there are Python files, which are the default files, are automatically installed when I created a project in Django. First we require one template folder to add our HTML page. So I'm adding the template folder in my root folder, which is My Project. Right click that one, click New Folder, and the folder name is Templates, and in this templates folder I'm adding a simple HTML5 page. I click the project templates folder, click New File. I'm adding, this is a page1.html, and here we got our page1.html page. Doc type, I'm closing the HTML tag. Inside this HTML, I'm adding the header section. And the header section, I'm adding the title. And the title is configure the MySQL phpMyAdmin and display records. After the header tag, I'm adding the body tag. Inside this body, I'm adding the h1 tags, how to configure the SQL phpMyAdmin database, and second h2 tag Python using Django web framework. After the headings, I'm adding the horizontal tag. Let's close this horizontal tag. Now inside this horizontal tag, I'm adding the simple table element, and this table element I'm adding the border is equals to 1. Let's declare tr. Now inside this tr, I'm adding the th, the table headers. In our table we have 4 columns: ID, EMP name, email, and salary. Let's add those ones. EMP employee ID, second table header, EMP name, employee name, email, and the last column name is a salary. So after the tr headings, I'm adding another tr to display the table data. Now inside this tr tags, I'm adding the td tags, which is a table data, comes from the database table, from this table EMP details. Now after the HTML page, let's save this file first, save all. Now we require models to create the properties. I'm selecting the My Project subfolder, right click the My Project, click New File. I'm adding models.py, and here we got our models.py Python page. Now in this models.py, I'm declaring from Django.db import. I'm importing the connections, and the second package I'm adding them Django.db import. I'm importing the models class. Now after importing these two classes, connections and models, now I'm declaring a class. The class name is employee details. Now in this class, I'm adding the models.model colon. Now let's define the property. In my table, I have 4 columns: ID, which is the auto-generated column, so I am not adding this ID column. The second column is the EMP name, email, and salary. Let's add those ones here. EMP name is equals to models dot char field max underscore length is equals to 100. And the second property is the email is equals to, instead of writing the same thing, let's copy this one, paste here. Salary is equals to models.char field max length is equals to 100. After that, I'm adding the meta class meta colon. Now in this meta class, I'm declaring db underscore table is equals to, between double quotes, I'm adding my table name EMP details. Copy this one and paste here. That's it. In this models folder, I have defined the properties emp name, email and salary. Let's save this file, save all. And next step, we require the views page also. In the same subfolder, my project, right click the mouse, click new file. I'm adding the Python file with the page, the name views.py, and here we got the views.py. Now in this views, we call the models. First, I'm importing the render for these templates to display the HTML page from Django.shortcuts import render. And the next one, I'm adding the models folder from my project name is my project dot models import. I'm importing my class name, employee details. Let's copy this one, paste here. Now let's create a function def show emp. I'm adding the request colon. Then this function returns render. Copy this one and paste here. In this render method, I'm adding the request comma between double quotes, and the second parameter is our page name, page1.html, page1.html, and the third one is to display the results. So results display is equals to the results I'm getting from this employee details, which is a class name. So add this one, employee details dot objects dot all method. Now let's call this returns display here. Between curly braces, I'm adding the dictionary, single quotes, the employee details, copy this one and paste here, colon, I'm adding this results display. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now up to now, we got one HTML page, we have created the models and views also. Now let's configure the routing URLs. Open the urls.py. And notice in these URLs, we have some default code URL patterns here. After adding the admin and path, we need to add from dot, I'm importing our file name page1.html is in the views page. So let's add the views page, and in the URL patterns, this path is a default path which I don't require. My path is path. I'm adding my new path colon. This is my default web page, and I am not adding anything here. Between these double quotes, views dot, in this views I have a method show emp. Let's call this show emp here. That's it. We have configured the URLs also. Now the final step, which is the most important. Before that, let's save all again. Open settings.py. Now in the settings.py, first I am configuring the templates. Notice in this template section there is a dirs directories. In these directories I am adding os.path.join method. I am joining the base directory, base underscore directory, comma, and the second parameter is my folder name to render my HTML templates. So I am adding the templates folder name. This is the templates folder I have added in this template section. And the next, in the install underscore app, I am adding my project name, which is my project. This step is very important. If you don't add, you'll get an error. So make sure add your project name in this install underscore app section. Now the final step, we need to configure my database connection string. Come to the bottom and notice in these databases, this is a default configuration for SQLite. See here db.sqlite 3. So now I don't require this SQLite 3. Instead of that, I want to connect MySQL phpMyAdmin. So first let's change the engine name, which is MySQL, and the name, and the second attribute for the database is a name. So here in the name I'm adding my database name, which is SampleDB. Let's add this SampleDB, copy this one and paste here. And the third attribute between single quotes is the user, user, colon, between double quotes my username for the phpMyAdmin is root, comma, and the next attribute is a password. Here the password I am leaving blank because I don't have any password. If you have any password, please enter that one here. Then the next one is the host. The host is the local host. I'm adding local host, comma, and I'm adding the port also. Now the port number between single quotes, let's check, which is a 3306. We need to add our port number 3306, and the last one, options, colon, between curly braces, between single quotes, init underscore command, colon, between double quotes. Now between double quotes I'm adding set SQL underscore more is equals to, I'm adding strict underscore trans underscore transaction tables. That's it. We have configured our MySQL database in this database section in settings.py. Now the final step, we need to add our configuration here. So first, to fetch the records, I'm using for loop. So between curly braces, percentage for get data is an object in. So in from this models employee details, now in the td between double curly braces I'm adding get data dot emp id. So we need to add the exact column names id here, id td get data dot emp name, td, get data dot email, td, get data dot, the last property is memorials is the salary, that's it. Now we need to close the for loop, again adding curly braces, percentage and for. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now we need to run the server. So to run the server, open view, click the debug, select the debug console, switch to terminal, and notice the terminal, the Python Django, which is my project folder, I have created in the D drive. So in this folder, my project name is my project. So then cd, I'm adding my project name, project, enter. Now before run the server, first thing we need to install the MySQL, pip install MySQL client package. Now let's run the server, Python. To run the server, we need to add this manage.py, run server, enter. And here we got a message, no issues found, and this is our server name. Click the control, and here we got the final output. Notice the header tags, how to configure the MySQL phpMyAdmin, and the second one H2. This is the H2 Python using Django framework. And below that, we got the data from this table, EMP details, ID, EMP name, email, and salary. That's it.